How are you? How are you? Please find a seat to listen to the panel right now. So my name is Ken. Currently, I'm the BD lead at Dagora, a multi-chain NFT marketplace. And before the panel, I think that it is safe to give a big applause to Ordzaar, Coordinated, Dagora, and Frontier DAO to host this amazing event. So can we give a round of applause? Okay, so yeah, Ordinals. I think that Bitcoin Ordinal has been one of the most popular terms in the NFT community in the first half of 2023, and I think that. But in general, the question is Ordinal going to be good or is going to be bad for the king, for the Bitcoin, right? So it is the main topic for our panel today. And before going into the insights of our speakers today, I think that you guys are willing to know more about the speakers, their background, and also their experience with NFTs and their journey. So I think that I will go this round first to introduce about yourself.
Okay, hello guys. I'm Nina. I'm BD for Connected Super App. And we are gonna working closely with Ordinals to bring the best experience for users on our Ordinals ecosystem. Yeah.
GM and Sing Chao everyone. I'm David, co-founder of Ordzaar, together here with Nakib, my fellow co-founder. So we're Ordzaar. We've built a decentralized launchpad, making it super easy for creators and artists to launch their collections. It's fully freeless, so and the UX is really simple and smooth for everyone. We're also launching a marketplace, and in the future we're gonna have BRC20 tokens and all the various Ordinal tokens as well. Passing on to
Thanks. Hi, 我是 Johnson， 我是 Phanta Bear 的原创的 co-founder。
Hello, this is Johnson. So he is the co-founder of Phanta Bear NFT.
我这次很高兴接受 Naki 的邀请和Coin98 的邀请，能够来跟亚洲的伙伴们分享一下未来 NFT 的前景跟趋势。
So I'm very happy to be here that Naki invited us and also to attend Coin98, this event, to share with all the Asia people about our project, yes.
我们相信在 NFT 还有 blockchain 的未来，制造 value 是一个非常重要的事情。
We believe that in order to have a better NFT future, we have to really go and create the value itself.
所以接下来我们会结合 AIGC 的这个技术，来制造更多能够创造 value 的一个作品，让大家在未来能够有一个更好发展的机会。
Yeah, so what we are trying to do is, the next thing is we are going to integrate more AIGC technologies in order to add more value to the blockchain future.
Thanks.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Mike Fang. I'm the co-founder of AANC NFTs Club, or you can say AANC for short. So we are one of the biggest NFT communities in Vietnam, and our goal is becoming a place, a hub for people to coming and sharing and learning together, networking. It's nice to be here with you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you guys. So I guess all of the audience here have know more about you guys and your NFT experience. But in terms of the community that be here today, I think that most of them are NFT enthusiasts, and I think that they would be willing to know more about the most memorable NFT experience that you guys have experienced before. So I think that for this question, Chiang, so you are the CEO of Phanta Bears, right? So I think that for all the speakers here today, you're gonna have the most experience in terms of NFTs and everything like that. So what is your most memorable NFT experience?
我们在一开始要做 Phanta Bear 之前是在2021年。
So when they first started to do the Phanta Bear project was at 2021.
那因为我那个时候负责 J Chow 的 movie producer。
So for that period, he was the film producer for J Chow.
我们当时觉得怎么样把 J Chow 的 IP 的 value 能够扩展到全世界。当时我们觉得 NFT 这个技术是一个很好的一个载体。
So for that period, they were thinking like, so how we can actually bring the J Chow's IP towards a value and spread to the whole world.
所以那个时候我们觉得透过它的潮牌它的服装品牌 Fantasy 的一个 IP 的2D 人物叫 Phanta Bear 来去做 NFT 是一个很好的一个开始。
So that is why they actually taken one of the J Chow's it's a clothing brand. It's called Phanta Bear. So they decided to use this identity to create the Phanta Bear project, NFT project.
其实他本人并没有这个 celebrity 他本身没有特别参与在这个项目里面。
So for J Chow himself, actually he was not really involved into the NFT project.
但我们也因此证实了，就是 NFT 的价值需要从 IP， 然后行销、运营和名人效益多种元素组合出来。
Yeah, so this is when people know that he was not really involved into the project, right? But why is it so successful is then we can see from here because we really need to have the IP of the celebrity, really have to have the management, then it can be really efficient.
是，所以我们觉得接下来 NFT 的走向会是更需要有具体的经济功能和实质的价值，才是我觉得 NFT 发展的未来。
Yeah, so the next thing about NFT, how can NFT actually bring to the next bull run is really about the value and also it really can bring up the economy. So this is where the value comes from.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Actually, I just noticed that for our panel today, we have like different views from, a perspective of, the builders from Ordzaar, Connected, and we also have the perspective of NFT project from Phanta Bears, and we also have the perspective from the community. So it is something that, I think there's not many chances for the audience here today to get those kind of insights. So about the most memorable NFT experience, I think I would like to know more about yours, Mai.
Okay, so thank you for your question. I think the most memorable NFT experience for me is once I bought an NFT on AANC, and then it's very fun that after I flip it, it announced rock. So I consider myself very lucky at that time, at that moment, and it also shows you how unexpected the NFT market is. But later, I stopped these flipping things because maybe my luck has been gone since that moment. So I focus more on fundamental value of an NFT project, and I pay more attention to projects that have core values, that have a goal, a product to build in the future.
Yeah, so actually I have kind of similar experience like you, but my luck is not that good. So I minted. I think that it was the Frosty NFTs back in 2022, and I was staying up late. I tried to mint the NFT, but the next thing in the morning, all of their social, their website, and everything was gone. So it's basically a rug pull, and it was the experience. So always Dior and find the best approach for you guys. And okay, so for the builders, I think this question gonna be good. So how do you see the growth and also the chance of NFT marketplace in the APAC region, especially in Vietnam, because we are in Vietnam right now. So what is your view on that?
Okay, so actually, I'm not from a collection, right? More from the ordinal space. But looking at the NFT and looking at space in Asia and looking at Vietnam, for example, maybe just to go through some statistics, right? So Coinalysis, which is a research company, they publish a crypto global index adoption paper globally. And, on this paper, Vietnam has ranked number 1 in overall adoption globally, and it has been for the past 2 years. So I think it's really strong. It's a real beacon. Vietnam is really a hub for crypto in the whole world, right? So I think in terms of crypto as well, you have the different layer 1s, you have the layer 2s, you have DeFi, and then you have NFTs. I personally feel NFTs is really one of the easiest or the easiest way, for mass adoption to come into crypto, because DeFi is, in a way, you really need to know your numbers and you need to understand a lot of technical things, on how the protocol works, right? AMMs, liquidity pools. But, NFTs, of course, it's more than art itself, right? But NFTs are about the communities. It's about art that everyone can understand, right? Sure, art is subjective, but art is someone that people can easily relate to compared to, DeFi and understanding how scaling solutions work, or, different complex things like ZK rollups and all that. So I think the future is super bright for Vietnam. And of course, the other thing about Vietnam is the population is really, really young. Right? I think the median age here is 32. That's mind-blowing. Crypto is really for the Gen Zs and the millennials that are pushing the space. And I think Vietnam is really primed for it because of the, just the young and the really innovative and really hungry to succeed population. That's my opinion. I think it's very bright for Vietnam.
That's awesome. Yeah, actually, NFT is truly a great approach for the youngster to dive in the crypto world, because as you mentioned about DeFi involving many technical terms and everything like that. So NFT is the approach. So Nina, as a builder for Connected Super App, so what's your on the APAC region and also Vietnam in terms of try to be more NFT focused, something like that?
Yeah, okay. Actually, I kind of agree with our friend from here, and because the concept of NFT is quite easy to adopt. So but the earning opportunities is quite formal, right? It's easy to adopt, and it's quite formal to earning opportunities. So for APAC, especially Vietnam, they are almost like emerging countries, right? And I think this attached very much to the tense of adoption of this of NFT in APAC communities. And also I have another thesis as well in terms of Vietnam, right? And it's quite attached to gaming as well, because AC Infinity was then a big boom for Vietnam blockchain projects in the world, right? And Vietnam is also among the top countries in terms of adoption, not adoption, but in terms of gaming players. It's famous all over the world for League of Legends as well, for example. And and AC Infinity appear with the concept of gaming, combining earning by playing the games, and the concept of NFTs was adopted by then, and it's easy to spread later on. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. Actually, gaming and NFTs kind of related in some way. So yeah. Okay, so that is the end of the first half where we discuss more about the NFT views of you guys. So let's focus more on the topic today, Ordinals. So with the introduction of Ordinals, what was your first impression of it, and what was your first kind of like action towards the Ordinals? I think I can ask you in terms of the community as you represent the users and everything like that. So, what was your impression?
Yeah, thank you. So when I first heard about Ordinals or the BRC20 things, I thought it was another wave. Like it's another pump dump thing. Because first, for me, in my opinion, what Ordinals have been done at that time, like inscribing the data, the text file, and all those stuff onto the Bitcoin blockchain, I think Ethereum has been doing it very well. And also, the Ordinal thing, it also caused congestion on the Bitcoin network. And like, okay, I may sound like a Bitcoin maxi at this point, but for me, the end game of Bitcoin has already been the internet money. For me, and also Satoshi, he didn't mean Bitcoin to be a blockchain for digital assets as well. So yeah, I'm with him on that point. So yeah, that's my first impression about Ordinals.
I see. So yeah, how about you, David? As the founder of Ordzaar, and you guys support Ordinals, right? So what was your impression when it's first?
So we've been watching the Bitcoin development very closely. When the whole Taproot movement launched last year, we were really quite excited about what could actually come out of this. Personally, for me, I think when Ordinals launched, it was kind of mind-blowing because innovation on Bitcoin actually comes at quite a slow pace compared to all the EVM networks out there. So now on the Ordinal space, you have the ability to actually create and put images, all sorts of different kind of media and forms on it, right? It opens up so much more utility on Bitcoin itself. So for me, I think it's pretty, not just revolutionary actually. For me, it's actually very mind-blowing. And that's why actually Nakib and we were so excited, and that's how we actually founded Ordzaar. We really wanted to help push the space and actually grow this and help also actually developers. We're also building toolkits. We're building SDKs so that people who find it difficult to build on Bitcoin will actually have a lot of resources available to them. So yeah, that's my impression.
Okay, so actually I want to dive a little bit more deeper on that comment from yours. Like as Nakib just presented in his speech, like when NFTs on Ordinals is kind of a different way because everything is on chain, and it might get the Bitcoin network to slow down a little bit. So what's your thought on as everything is stored on chain, which is kind of different from NFTs on other blockchains, like you have metadata artwork, which is stored on clouds, on IPFS and everything like that. So what's your thought on this? Because is it gonna be like detrimental to Bitcoin network, or it may give some kind of distraction to the network? So what's your take on this?
Okay, so I do have a few thoughts on this. Firstly, the advent of Ordinals is actually innovation. And innovation is always important to any network or even any industry. And the thing is, there are a few things, right? There was always this discussion about, when we start to get close to 21 million, of course, it's kind of decades away, right? What's going to happen? Because there's not going to be any more block subsidy anymore. Miners are not going to get a reward, right? Would there be a reimbursement in terms of the network fee to all these miners? The miners are super important because they keep the network secure and safe. When Ordinals came about, sure, we had this, crazy fever where the network fee actually spiked higher than what we saw in the end of 2017. which is mind-boggling, to be honest. But with that, you actually see that we actually had this first time where the network fees are higher than the block subsidy, which is a glimpse into the future of the real, it kind of answers the question, will there be a time where, there is no more network fee, block subsidy, and then the miners are just going to walk away? No, because the utility has come on, and the miners are going to be super happy to process all these transactions, and the network will continue to do what Bitcoin has intended to do and what Satoshi intended all along. So personally, that's the second thing I feel that is tremendous that Ordinals is doing for the Bitcoin space. The third thing is, when we reach a point where network fees are super high, it spurs a lot of discussions about how are we going to build scaling solutions. So a couple of months ago, there were already a lot of people talking about how are we going to build a layer 2, right? How are we going to execute real scalability for the Bitcoin network, right? There are even talks of ZK rollups and all that. If you were to think about this 2 years ago, no, not at all. So this ties back to innovation, and I think innovation is extremely good for the space. And so I think it's a positive thing.
Yeah. So in general, bullish, right?
Oh, 100%. 100% bullish.
Okay, so I think the next question should be for you, Chiang, because as you guys are building Phanta bears, so with all of the infrastructure of Ordinals and everything like that, so is there a chance that you guys might think about moving or generating another collection on Ordinals besides which is you guys are working on?
Okay, good question. OK， 首先我要很肯定 Ordinals 的价值，因为它让我看见了一个全新的机会。
So first thing first, I would like to say I really see Ordinals as a really valuable thing because we can see the opportunity. It's a brand new opportunity and potential.
因为它跟其他的 blockchain 的cryptocurrency 的差别很大。
Because there's a really big difference of between Ordinals and other blockchains.
一般的 blockchain 的 cryptocurrency 它来自于推动交易里面的数位资料或数位资产产生价值。
So in general, for the normal NFTs, the value actually comes from the asset itself, the art, and also how many, what's the amount of the trading volume.
但是 Bingcheng 上面它其实因为它的 Bitcoin 是有限的，所以等于它就像是有限的黄金一样，本来就有价值。
So why is BTC chain so different? Is you take it you take it as gold. It's limited, so the supply is already there. So it's not like you can still producing more and more. That's why there's a value there. It's just like gold.
所以以前我们用别的以太链制造出来的数位资产，它其实在帮以太币做了很大的价值。
Okay, so previously they launched the project on Ethereum chain. They launched the digital art on it, right? So actually the digital art itself add more value onto the Ethereum chain.
但我们现在用Ordinals 等于用比特链来成为我们现在数位资产的基础价值，因为它原本就很有价值。
So now the Ordinals actually works in a different way. The Ordinals actually add in more values on top of Bitcoin because Ordinals is kind of the fundamental of the value of Bitcoin itself.
所以我举个例子，比如说以前我要打造一台 Lamborghini 放在以太链上面卖，我 Lamborghini 本身要很有价值。
So last time he has the idea to produce a Lamborghini and put it onto Ethereum chain. The Lamborghini itself has to be really valuable. Then he can do that.
但我现在用 Ordinals 在 Bingcheng 上面卖一台 Lamborghini 等于用黄金打造的 Lamborghini， 它有黄金的价值，也有 Lamborghini 的价值。
So now if you put the Lamborghini onto Bitcoin chain, it's totally a different story because the value comes from Lamborghini itself and also comes from the gold, which is Bitcoin.
这是我看到一个巨大的机会，所以我觉得亚洲人非常有智慧。
So this is the really, he sees this as a really big, huge potential. That's why he feels that people in Asia are really, really smart.
因为我们大量的参与这一波的 Web3 的经济，但是我们应该开始开創屬於自己的經濟。
Because we are the OG who actually developing and kind of creating the economy itself. That's why we need to work on it more.
所以有機會我們很樂意使用 Ordinals 的這樣的一個機制來成為新的 project 的一個底層技術。
So yes, he just answered the question. So he feels that if we really have the opportunity, of course, it's a good idea to have an Ordinals collection. Thanks.
Just a quick question, like for the Lamborghini thing, like you have to buy the physical one to mint the NFT, right? Or you just gotta receive the NFT only?
So it's like you produce a token of the Lamborghini, and after that you inscribe onto the blockchain.
Yeah, I see.
So you have the ownership of it. So because you inscribe it, right? It's like the gold. You actually change the gold to a different shape. So you change to a Lamborghini shape. So that's why it actually add value on it.
Okay. I see. Actually,
so even if the Lamborghini cannot move, you cannot drive it, it still has a value of gold. Have the gold value.
Okay, so it's a store value rather than like you're buying the real car, right? Yeah, I see. Okay, so absolutely. Okay, for the next question, I think I'll give it to you, Nina, because as a builder, in terms of the whole ecosystem of CoinActive, so NFT wise, how do you see Ordinals kind of compete with other NFT based blockchain, for example Solana and Ethereum and something like that? It's kind of a sensitive question, so I think but sensitive question is good for good answers, right? So can you give it to us?
Yeah, sure. The question is quite competitive, but my answer is quite peaceful because as I can see, there are quite many difference of Ordinals NFTs with traditional, not traditional, with the NFTs on other blockchains, like based on the nature of Bitcoin blockchains. So I think in the future, they are gonna be develop even more. But in general, people have their choice to choose whichever they find best fit for them, right? So I think they will develop and evolve from each other, and at the same time not complete.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so how about you, Mai? From the community perspective, how is, because most of the community is like flippers, right? So what do you see the difference? How do you see the competition between Ordinals and other NFT based blockchains?
I think I agree with Nina on her point is that left that to the users. They have the choice to choose. Okay, for flippers, they want something quick. Okay, they can choose other chains like Ethereum, like Solana. But for people who truly care about the decentralization or immutability stuff, they can choose Bitcoin. But another point that we have to notice here is that if an artist choose Ordinal to publish their artwork, maybe they have to ignore the numbers because that art may not be for the mass. Like other blockchains like Ethereum, people pay attention to the volume because flippers, traders, they all care about money, so they care about the numbers. But if you want to ignore all of that, and you choose Ordinals, you must accept the fact that that artwork may not be that famous, that popular for the mass. That's my opinion.
Yeah, actually, I also agree with you guys in terms of the users, they're gonna choose what they're gonna choose, right? So, speaking of artists, so I think this question can be given to you, David, because you are working as the Ordzaar is kind of like NFT marketplace on Ordinals. So you work with artists, with projects owner every day, right? So what's your thought about the artists, the projects owners? I would say their approach, their mindset on Ordinals right now, because for some chains, it is kind of like a short-term kind of thing. But what about the approach of artists, the owners on Ordinals?
So we've actually done a lot of outreach. Actually, just next week in Singapore, we have a Ordinals artists workshop where we're actually hosting 40 different artists to come and do their collection on Ordzaar. And that's so much excitement. Actually, the artists are they're so excited that there's actually this opportunity to bring their collections to the Bitcoin space. I think this is something that is honestly, if people are thinking Ordinals is kind of quiet at the moment, I actually would like to disagree. Of course, there's a lot of activity that happens on the BRC20 side of the Ordinal space. But on the other hand, you see a lot of collections that are, the waitlists are immediately snapped up, right? The whitelisting process, the mints are immediately sold out. So I think the space is still growing. The artists are definitely coming on board. Some really maybe need a bit of education to understand how it works, because it's very different. It's a very novel and new sort of narrative, right? Compared to the Ethereum side. But we really do see a lot of excitement from artists. Yeah. If you're coming to Singapore, or if you're in Singapore next week, join our workshop. Yeah.
Yeah. I will. Actually, I want to ask more about the artists, because there are many kinds of NFTs, right? We have PFP, we have utilities NFT like tickets, and or just art piece like portraits or anything like that. So on Ordinals, especially on Ordzaar, what is the most popular type of NFTs are you guys working with right now?
Yep. So we do have a diverse group of artists, all the way from Web2 artists and to Web3 artists. So I think predominantly at the moment we would see a lot of Web3 artists, profile pictures, PFPs kind of collections. Part of the reason is that on the Bitcoin blockchain, on the Ordinal side, you need to have sort of artwork that are slightly on the smaller side because of the network fees of inscribing, right? Flip side to this is that it's being countered by the new advent of recursion, which actually allows you to build all sorts of fantastic, even 3D art on the Ordinals space without having a lot of file size used up, right? You can reuse a lot of the Ordinals for creating new things. So there are even games, for example, on Ordinals using recursion. So we also work very closely with Web2 artists. We have John Hampton and Stu Redding from the UK, and they actually also have launched their exclusive collection with Ordzaar. So they are very connected with traditional artists, and for them, they didn't want to do anything on the Ethereum side because they didn't want to have their artwork on IPFS with the potential of it being lost. I'm not throwing shade on NFTs or anything. I'm just saying these are the choice of Web2 traditional artists. They prefer the immutability and they prefer the strength of the Bitcoin blockchain, and that's why they want to build and actually have their collections on Ordinals instead. So when we launched, basically they're going to bring all their friends, right? And they have exclusive artworks, and traditional artists that are going to come onto Ordzaar as well. So if you watch our space in the coming weeks when we have our launchpad fully up, you'll see a lot of incredible stuff. Yeah.
So like how many launchpad gonna be like in the next week? Like, do you have like a rough number on?
I think on a launchpad right now we have over 20 collections. It's growing. A lot of them are minting very quickly as well. The marketplace is now on testnet, and I think in the next 1 or 2 weeks we'll have it live as well.
Yeah, actually, like 20 launchpads in a week is kind of really good because as I am building Dagora right now, which is also an NFT marketplace. So the reason why I asked you the question about which is like the most popular kind of NFTs that you guys are working with right now, because as I work with the projects, they are mostly focused on PFPs. But I think that as we have a wide variety of NFTs, for example, utilities, tickets, art pits, and even music and something like that. So I think the possibility is there. So yeah. Okay. So we have one more last question for the panel, and then we're gonna let the audience here to ask you guys question. So for this question, I think that I will go this order again. So okay. So what if you have a friend and he doesn't know anything about crypto, NFTs, and like a completely blank page? So what would you say to him if you want to invite him to join the crypto space, especially, for example, Ordinals, like shilling something?
Okay, actually, I have copied this answer from our friend Nar. Okay, if you are I will say if you are an artist and you can put your art into digital asset, it will bring value. You can sell it, and it will stay forever in the blockchain. Yeah. Okay.
For me, I think I think education is key. I'll probably try to explain a little bit in a very layman format, perhaps what Ordinals are, and to really unpack this question. There's a lot of things, right? I don't want to explain what cryptography is. I don't want to explain what
just like simple terms, like explaining to a kid.
If you want to explain what Ordinals really are, I think the easiest way is like if you imagine you had a stack of $1 bills, like 1,000 $1 bills, right? Technically, each value of each $1 bill is the same, right? But if you actually look into the dollar bills itself, and actually each dollar bill represents a Satoshi in that sense, there's always a serial number on your notes, right? And so, serial numbers actually mean that there's a separate identity. And so if let's say you take the first note of the whole series, that actually kind of has a bit more value because like notes out there, right, with like special numbers are more valuable. So this is a way to show, perhaps what rare ordinals are, rare sets, right? And if supposing you were to take one of these notes and you would give it to your idol, I'll just say Elon Musk because he's such a prominent figure. If Elon Musk were to sign his signature on one of these notes, the value of the note is also different because it's got something rare on it, right? So I think that's how I would explain in a very uneasy to layman way on what ordinals really are, so that they can relate to it. It's about the value ultimately, and so perhaps they will be able to relate to that.
What about you, Chiang?
我会告诉我朋友，你现在是用最有价值的 cryptocurrency 在制造属于你自己价值的东西。
So he say he will share with a friend. Now he's using the cryptocurrency to create the most valuable thing of himself.
就这样。
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
Okay, so my answer for this question, maybe I'm a realist. I'm a bit realistic, so I'm just gonna tell them that crypto is new, Ordinal is new, and anything new has risk. So take your chance, take the bet if you want to change your life. Because like if you just follow the traditional path, for example, trying a corporate life, have a normal life, follow that. But if you want to make something big, make something different, you have to choose a different path, and that maybe crypto and ordinals. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Actually, like I was in the corporate life too before going into the crypto space, so I can relate to that kind of advice too. So if you want to break out your comfort zone and something like that, then just join. But it is also a bet, like a bet of your life, because you're gonna have to really work 24/7 for the crypto space. So high risk, high return, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys for the panel. So are there any questions for the speakers today? We are taking.
I come from India, so what do you think is the NFT pie on Bitcoin or Ordinals? NFT pie, something like finance on NFT.
Okay, maybe I'll take this one. So, there are already sort of like ordinal finance or DeFi for ordinals coming about. There are AMM swaps for BRC20 tokens. There's Liquidium, for example, where you can actually sort of lock up your ordinal itself and actually get a loan out of it. So the space is actually moving a lot. People don't really see it because I think the activity is not that great at the moment. But it is being built. So people are coming up with, builders and developers, they're coming up with all these DeFi aspects for ordinals. So you can actually get a loan out of, whatever ordinals. Yeah. So let's say you get a DGOT ordinal, you can actually put it up as collateral for a loan. So it's coming. It's not as easy as to build because, Bitcoin was not built for smart contracts, right? So, but, people are coming up with solutions, and it's the space and the innovation is there. So to answer, I hope that gets your question. Yep. Okay, we can talk more later. We can share some examples.
Any more questions? I think that there's not many chances for we have different perspective from the builders, the community, and also NFT owners. How about you?
I want to know more scaling solution in the future for Ordinals. Yeah.
I think Nakib, can you? You are not the speaker of this panel, but I think you are the best one to answer this one. So.
The question is really interesting in terms of scaling solutions for Bitcoin itself, right? So if we talk about scaling for ordinals, we're not only talking about ordinals, we're talking about Bitcoin in general. But in terms of how skills are coming, like what David mentioned, that is recursive. That's one of the scaling solutions that happens, right? So recursive is a tool where you can compress a big file into a small file that no one has ever seen before. So check out recursive tech. Right, this tech will make a file, an artwork, for example, or a text, or an image from 500 kilobytes worth of image into less than 10 kilobytes worth of image. So these are the kind of compression tools that we are looking at scalability in the Bitcoin space, because each inscription, each block is only 4 megabytes. You can only do 4 megabytes at tops, right? So all these tools are coming in. And in terms of scalability, there are companies working on trying to build a ZK rollups. Right? Of course, in Bitcoin space, we have stacks, we have rootstocks, right? But those are kind of like a side of Bitcoin. We are looking at other layer 1 developers coming in to build on Bitcoin natively ZK rollups. Even Vitalik himself came in the space back then, says Ordinals is what's going to drive Bitcoin in the future, with all the L1s coming in, helping and supporting with. So in terms of scalability, yes. And in terms of smart contracts, there won't be any smart contracts yet. But if you look at how other kind of protocols are coming in, so there's BRC, there's ORC, there's TEMS. Let's firstly talk about ORC. ORC is a new protocol, and the researcher is a friend of mine, Sonic. He is actually trying to build a DeFi form protocol within blockchain itself, within Bitcoin itself. So these are the kind of innovations that's going to scale, right? Bitcoin is 7 years too late when it comes to scalability. Everyone was building in EVMs, but now everyone is coming back to Bitcoin and building on Bitcoin, and we have the experience that they get from other L1s, other network, and they're bringing this experience into Bitcoin, which is amazing. That's why Ordinals grew really, really fast, because people know what to build, and they're just gonna just copy paste and how to work around Bitcoin itself. That is how I see Bitcoin is gonna scale.
Thank you, Naki, for the detailed explanation and everything. So, is there any other question for the speakers today? Or we can.
Hi, I might come late to the panel, so maybe you guys have mentioned this before, but I missed it. So, all of my understanding about Ordinal is that it's different from NFTs. We cannot change the data we encrypted on the Satoshi, right? So it will give the decentralized power to people who are using Ordinals. But here's the thing. Then if there's no one to control the Ordinals, then what happens if some organization, they decide to use Ordinal for bad purpose? Should that if I don't like Donald Trump, so I gonna encrypt some meme about him on the Ordinal, or I will use it to create malicious content on the Ordinal. So then what should we do in that case? So how can we control the bad action from affecting the community of the Ordinals?
So I think ultimately Bitcoin is a permissionless and open network. Anyone is allowed to subscribe whatever they want onto the network itself. On Ordzaar, we do take this actually very seriously. We do think about what happens if people put up things like child pornography, right, on the marketplace. We actually do monitor, right, and we do have ways to take things down that are illegal when it's shown on our platform, right? That's the way we can gatekeep certain things. But ultimately, the web is open for everyone to use, right? And I was just thinking about this yesterday. Imagine, you can go to the dark web and you can do all sorts of things there. You can put information, but basically the dark web is the part of the web that you can't search using Google or Yahoo or Bing, and you can find everything else there, right? If people want to access it, it's going to be there. But for us as a platform, we will safeguard our users, of course. We will have moderation in place. We'll get our community to be involved as well, to flag out things that are illegal and not meant to be there. Political views and things like that, it's not really up for us to gatekeep, I would say. I think freedom of speech is important as well. But if it's, child pornography and all that, of course, Ordzaar takes that very seriously, and we would take action to take it down from the site. Yep. It still will be on the blockchain, but we just disable it from being viewed from our site. So.
Yeah, okay, thank you for your answer, David. So for your question, so yeah, I agree with what you raised, and that's there was also a case that a person has uploaded a pornography on Ordinals, and the platform did not show that on the front end, but that picture is still inscribed on Ordinals, but. As I asked Nakib in his first keynote, actually the picture on Ordinals, they can be pruned, but they can only be pruned if like a lot of nodes agree on pruning it, like deleting it from the blockchain. So I think that for those stuffs that those illegal stuff that you mentioned about, I think that we can find the consensus from the community to remove those bad things from the blockchain. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Awesome. Okay, so any other question from you guys? Or, I think we are good to go. So thank you all for being here today and give out great insights for the audience. And thank you all for being here. Yeah.